I'm here with Bomani J. Story, who is the writer director of The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Just want to say, got a chance to check it out. Checked it out twice actually. Really enjoyed it. Really moving horror, and I think that's always like the best horror is like you add some tragedy in there, and that's exactly what I got from your movie. So really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you connected with it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so my first question when I watched this movie and watched it again is what inspired you to want to retell this story that's been done so many years, but you gave it such a unique light and look to it. So what was the inspiration behind it?
Um, Honestly, as I say, it's like it starts with the literature. Like when I read it, I was just so moved by it and also terrified of it. And I felt like there was a lot of stuff that was being left on the floor with this material, and there's a lot of stuff that was being also overlooked. One of them, the fact that it's a story that's not about the monster, it's about Victor Frankenstein, and his rise and fall. So I wanted to recapture that for this and refocus the narrative. On top of that, uh I grew up with two older sisters who I love, and they were my muse for this project or for this story. And so when I enraptured all that together, out came this. And the themes really resonated with me. Obviously, I think they resonate with a lot of people because the book has stood the test of time for I don't know what, 200 years more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And that is exactly what I got from as well. The movie is that you focused more on the creator as well, more gave him more of a light. Usually, the stories it's more on Frankenstein, all of that, but here it was more on the creator, and I thought that it was definitely interesting here in the film as well. So when it comes to you telling these stories, being a filmmaker, are there specific films you remember watching at a young age that sort of impacted you to want to tell your own stories?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a few movies that were really impactful for me. Like I loved Boys in the Hood and Men's Society and Juice and Inkwell and Love and Basketball. And I also loved like anything Aronofsky makes or David Lynch and Billy Wilder. Like these were all just huge for me, like growing up and learning about movies. Like they really opened the door for cinema for me. Shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure. Especially I want to say in the movie, I think the line that really like resonated a lot that I heard a lot is that like death is a disease, and I thought that was such an impactful way to look at death, and it's something that a lot of people, I think everybody has a sort of fear of at a certain point. So, was that something that you started off the concept from exactly, or did it develop from something else?
Yeah, no, it was more of like it was two things. It was one, it was a way to encapsulate how Vicaria feels about everything. A good way to do that and like to address that. And it was also my way to pay homage to one of my favorite movies, The Fountain, because that's a line that they use in that, and I wanted to, pay homage to him while also pushing that theory and that theme with this film on how Vicaria approaches things. So the energy and the emotion of it has always been there.
So with Vicaria, speaking of her, you were able to, and her herself, give such a very raw emotion in a lot of these scenes. So how was the process of working with her and getting these emotions out when you were filming? Because a lot of these scenes are definitely showcasing a lot of this raw emotion. And I think she did such an amazing job in that. So how was that whole process with you and her?
I mean, I loved working with her. I have a beautiful relationship with her and her family. Like it was just so fantastic. She really, I mean, she gave it her all. She really gave it her all, and really, was just so unlocked, so unhinged, like, just like
Yeah.
so vulnerable to it. And for her to trust me with that was was amazing. It was incredible, for her to, and all the actors to be able to do that. And her and I were just like ride or die throughout this entire thing.
Yeah.
Just doing everything, and she would go for it. Whether it was the screams, the running, the crying, all that stuff, like she would take it to the next level, and I just thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. It really does translated always well when the director and the actors have this connection. It always comes out great in this movie for sure.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's I'm glad that it's translating on screen.
So we saw that the film was at South by Southwest. So
Mm.
how was that whole experience for you? Finally getting to see the film up there on the big screen at a big festival as South by Southwest.
I mean, it was surreal. It was awesome, but it was very fucking surreal, and I'm still kind of living in it. You know, the residue of
Yeah,
it. It's like it was such a beautiful experience doing that, and audience reception was fantastic, and yeah, it was just awesome, man. Like everyone should do it. They get the shot.
yeah,
You know, and also it was just like a dream for me as like a young filmmaker to hopefully one day get into South by Southwest and then to see that dream get realized, like,
yeah.
is crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy.
No, that's awesome. And of course, we do know that this is like such a big thing to be at South by Southwest. So when you're looking towards the future of like your filmmaking career, are you thinking of doing more horror, or are you thinking of trying another genre that you might like, or what is your whole process now?
No, I mean, I'm not someone who thinks that horror is a one and done thing. Like, I'm not like, I don't think it's it's just a jumping off point. Like, I love the genre. I watch it extensively, and it's something that I want to return to. There are some other genres in my back pocket that I want to visit in the future. But yeah, so it's kind of like a yes on both. Like I want to return to horror, but and I also want to venture into other genres and do my thing.
Yeah, it's definitely always awesome. Especially horror is like something you can really like blend together different genres into it as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Horror is a very expansive genre. It's more expansive than people think. You know, a lot of people think it's one thing or whatever, but there's a lot
Yeah.
of different modes for it. And some of my favorite uh filmmakers that work within the horror genre space are they're doing so many incredible things with it. You know, I'm thinking
Yeah,
about
especially these last couple of years, you see it expand so much.
oh yeah, you know, whether it's Jordan Peele with Get Out
Yeah.
or Ty West with Pearl or Julia Ducournau with Raw and Titan,
Oh
like
yeah.
these are all different ways to address and attack horror. Like all of them are, you know, and it's just it blows my mind. Shout out to them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's a good list.
Yeah.
So when you were filming this, what was the scene that you were like the most excited to film to be able to see be brought to life? And then when you were able finally to watch it on the big screen, what scene was the one where you just said that just looked amazing and exactly how I wanted it to come out?
Yeah. Probably that nightmare scene.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That one was probably my favorite, like, to do and then to see on the big screen and just to not only the strangeness of the visuals, but also just, like, the sound design of it that my boy Grant did, like, I thought that was just awesome, so, like, I really enjoyed that one, especially, like, yeah, on the big screen with, like, that surround, like, it just
Yeah.
I'll never hear it again like that. You know, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great sound design, great cinematography as well. Was something I really thought about the movie from beginning to end for sure.
Mm, thank you. Yeah, shout out to Grant. You know, he did his thing.
When it comes to you being a fan of horror and all of that, what horror movies specifically would you say like are in your top three?
Yeah, you know, my top three are probably the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then the French Martyrs. I love a lot. And as far as like a third one, as I always say, I like to keep it keep fresh with like new ones because sometimes we
Yeah,
can stay stuck in the past and kind of like not really give new ones their shout out. So I like giving in the most recent years. I'm really loving what uh Julia Duca now has been doing, like
yeah.
between Raw and Titan, like somewhere, you know, in there or Ty West Pearl, which was my favorite from last year. Like one of those three would be in the in the third spot because I just think they're phenomenal pieces of art and cinema.
Yeah, definitely keep pushing the envelope for sure. I know right now, like it's probably like you're all about this movie right now. But are you also like working on something currently, or starting in the early stages of it, or what's like the next step for you right now?
For me right now, I'm looking at uh I do got another script that I'm sitting on, you know, it's like in the best way I can pitch it or tell you what it is it's Juice meets Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Yeah, nice little
yeah.
fantasy story, you know, two blurs from the suburbs find Gandalf's staff in a book of spells. And hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that and I'm looking to get that going. So, you know, it's a buyer's market, baby.
No, yeah, definitely. And Juice and Lord of the Rings was something I've never would hear thought I would hear put together. So now I'm intrigued for that.
Be on the lookout, man.
Yeah. No, but I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today about the movie, The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, which is out next week, June 9th, theatrically. So if anybody wants to catch it, definitely do so. I recommend it 100%. And thank you again for coming out and talking to us for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.